How's it going, everyone? It is me, the Lone Vault Wanderer, and welcome back to another Fallout 76 video. So before I start this video, I just want to announce that I've finally become a partner on Twitch. I've been working towards this for years now, and we just got the notification in the past couple of hours, which means that I get all the partnership benefits on Twitch, full end codes, more emoticons for my Twitch subscribers, tons of other stuff. I am beyond happy because, again, this has been years in the making and we've finally gotten to that stage. So thank you to everyone that's supported me in that endeavor. If you do want to watch me stream on Twitch, I do it every weekend pretty much. The link to my Twitch is in the description below. So feel free to follow me, I'd really appreciate it. But now let's get to the Fallout 76 content. So the fact that Fallout 76 has no human NPCs in West Virginia has been getting to a lot of people. The reason that we've been given as to why there are no human NPCs is because it's such a short amount of time after the Great War, only 25 years, and Vault 76 is meant to be the very first vault that opens in West Virginia. So the logic is that the inhabitants of Vault 76 would be the only ones in West Virginia at the time of the doors opening, because who else would be there at that moment? But even given that very legitimate lore and story point, people still want human NPCs in the game because, as we know, with past Fallout games, human NPCs are so fundamentally important to those games. Every character interaction, all those conversations that take place, all the quests that are given out. A lot of the enjoyment from past Fallout games comes to talking with these human NPCs, interacting with them, getting side quests from them, understanding their backstory. Literally hundreds upon hundreds of hours of content in the Fallout franchise is going to be spent speaking with human NPCs. But in Fallout 76, we are not going to be getting that. Now, of course, there are still going to be other ways that quests are distributed. You know, we're still going to be able to talk to robots. We're still going to be able to interact somewhat with the Scorched, who are effectively replacing raiders. And then there are going to be notes, terminals, holotapes, etc. So there's still going to be a lot of ways that we can get quests in the game and also get backstory and lore and information about the history of the game setting, that being West Virginia. But here's something that I thought about today, which I think really needs to be stressed and mentioned in regards to Fallout 76. Eventually in West Virginia, there will need to be human NPCs introduced. Otherwise, it's going to be inconsistent with the lore of Fallout. And let me explain why. So as we know, the initial date of Fallout 76 is the 27th of October 2102. This is made very clear thanks to this Fallout 76 trailer, where the Pip-Boy here clearly shows the in-game date. But then when we look at this scene here in another Fallout 76 trailer, we can see that the date displayed on the Pip-Boy has changed to the 3rd of November 2102. So clearly some days have passed and the Pip-Boy has changed to reflect this. And if we can see this in the trailer footage, I can almost guarantee that in the game as well, the date displayed on the Pip-Boy will change as time in-game continues to pass. And of course, past Fallout games have had this as well. Looking at the most recent Fallout game, Fallout 4 began in the year 2287, but as you play the game, the in-game date does change. And if you play it long enough, you can find yourself in the year 2288, 2289, and even some people have reported that their game displays the year 2290 and beyond. Now granted, because Fallout 76 is a multiplayer online game, the passage of time might be slightly different, and instead of the in-game date being dependent upon how many hours the players put into the game, everyone's Pip-Boy might just be tied to one single official in-game date, which could very well be tied to the real-life passage of time in our own world. So for instance, when a day passes in our world, then a day might also pass in Fallout 76. But regardless of how it works exactly, at the very least we can say that in the game, due to the passages of time, the date will slowly increase. And presumably, especially many months if not years after launch, the in-game date in Fallout 76 could pass many years. So if this is the case, if the in-game date in Fallout 76's West Virginia will eventually pass days, months, if not years, then this should have some sort of effect or impact upon West Virginia. For instance, Bethesda could use the passage of time in Fallout 76 to create certain events, to have certain calendar events, such as Halloween. They did that in Fallout 4, they could easily do similar things in Fallout 76. But with regards to the whole human NPC situation, I think it also means that eventually there will need to be human NPCs introduced into West Virginia. Otherwise, it's going to be law-breaking. Clear precedent has been set by other Fallout games where in-game characters will move between different states in the USA. For instance, if you look at the Brotherhood of Steel, for instance, they sent a big group to venture across from Southern California all the way to the East Coast under the leadership of Paladin Lions, and eventually they ended up in the capital Wasteland after beginning all the way on the west coast. Another example from Fallout 3 is Dr. Zimmer. If you remember the Replicated Man quest, Dr. Zimmer had actually traveled all the way from the Institute to the capital Wasteland and eventually Rivet City to find one of the rogue synths that went missing. And of course, there are many other examples in this regard. So I put it all to you right now. Even though at the beginning of Fallout 76, when Vault 76 opens, it might make sense for there to be no other human NPCs, would it still make sense for there still to be 0 human NPCs in West Virginia, even though many years have passed in-game? What if we get to the date 2150, or even let's say 2200? We don't know how many years are going to be passing in Fallout 76's West Virginia, and it could get to the stage where even though we begin in the year 2102, we could eventually get so many years after that date that I think it wouldn't make sense in the lore of Fallout for there literally to be no human NPCs that eventually wander into West Virginia from other states. Again, we've had that precedent set by other Fallout games, so why wouldn't that happen in West Virginia? Especially for surrounding states on the East Coast, why wouldn't human NPCs want to venture into West Virginia to explore, to see if there are resources, to find other signs of human life? Realistically, it should eventually happen. And I think this could be a cool way for Bethesda to introduce human NPCs in the game, to have kind of cool DLC expansion kind of content with new factions being introduced that are similar to the Scorched, or just new characters, something to freshen up the experience. But in terms of lore consistency, I do think it needs to happen. Otherwise, it's like West Virginia exists in its own little bubble and no one explores it at all aside from those that are already in West Virginia, predominantly including Vault inhabitants like with Vault 76. Eventually, I think Bethesda is going to have to address this. Otherwise, personally, I reckon it's going to be law breaking. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think that if many years pass in-game in West Virginia, that it simply wouldn't make sense unless human NPCs finally entered the state? Please let me know in the comments below. And until next time, this has been the Lone Vault Wanderer. Please take care of yourself, and would you kindly keep fighting the good fight.